Greetings, sports world. You're back. I'm back after a week off. I was overseas. I was in Italy. I was with my girlfriend, my now fiance. But I'm back here to bring you what you have been asking for, the Young and the Rowdies, covering all things Florida Gator basketball and so much more. I'm your host, Patric Young, newly engaged. Kind of crazy to say that. But I'm super excited because now we got some drama. We've got some things to really dive into, some perspectives to ruminate upon. What are the Gators going to do now that they have faced some real adversity, problems in which we thought would come later down the road when bigger games were going to be on the horizon? But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, every game is a big game. Every time that our team steps out on the court, it is an opportunity for them to not look at who is on the other side, but look into the mirror to ensure that this team knows their identity. This team steps up. One of the biggest things that is a downfall or a factor in hurting a team's progress, hurting anyone's progress, is something we don't often account for. Nick Saban says it best talking about the poison. But this poison in particular is one that even as humans, we have to be careful to navigate. And that is, how do we handle success? How do we stick to the grassroots, the foundational things in which got us to where we were, where we are? The top is not an area, the top of the mountaintop, above the mountain, whatever you want to say it. It's something that you don't just arrive. You continue to do whatever it is that got you there. And yes, you do need to take time to look back and allow yourselves to see how far you've come. But you also need to remember what you do to continue to grow, because greatness doesn't settle. Being great, you don't just sit in that one spot of we've arrived. No, your goals are identity based. Your goals are not just based on the end, the result. Because if a team wants to be great, they practice great every day. Every rep is great. Every time we step into the training room, we do the weight room, we're great. Every time we're getting extra, everything that can contribute to greatness, that is now our identity. I know that was a big ramble going into this episode. This is a special edition of the Young and the Rowdies. This episode is going to be a little bit shorter. And guess who the special guest for this episode is going to be? None other than me. We're going to talk a little bit about this season as we're approaching the game tonight against UNF, another team that is had a very similar schedule to Texas Southern, in the sense that they have played a lot of top ranked teams on the road before getting into conference play. Another game that this Gator team, our Florida Gator team, is going to need to really be on their P's and Q's. And before I get into that stuff, I guess we got to go to the billing department. Just thanking the field of media, the field of 68 Media Network for this opportunity, always being able to bring you some hard-hitting facts, content about our team, about this Gator team, about the ups and downs, what we're seeing. And obviously, this team started off on a very great foot, but we always want to remember it's a journey. It's a journey through the season that a lot of times there's going to be hurdles. In life, there's going to be hurdles. It's always pretty nice to learn lessons when you still can come out on top, when you can still come out victorious. Reminds me of a few times that we've had, in my last season with the Gators playing, we had a few close calls where we needed those wake-up calls where we started to relax. We started to allow human nature to kick in and allow us to settle and forget that you need to lay the foundation. You got to go brick by brick. Every single day matters, staying present, staying focused on the bigger goal for the entirety of the team, for the entirety of the organization, for the entirety from the janitors to the head coach. Every single person matters. Every single thing that you do matters. Doing the common things uncommonly. And before we get into the month of December, let's not forget. I'll tell you, November was very nice for Florida Gator basketball. Obviously, a lot of when you're winning, very easy to fall into another, not to say poison, but just to remember that a lot of those games we won, some of them were still really close calls, still a lot of kinks that need to be worked out. It's almost like not an illusion, but early in the season, these teams are not a finished product. And I'm not sure if any team ever becomes a finished product, as we as humans will never become finished products. I mean, if I believe that you stop living once you decide that you're content and don't want to grow anymore, don't want to push yourself, don't want to challenge yourself, don't want to, but also we do need to enjoy the moment. We do need to stop and smell the roses and enjoy the moments and places that we are at, so we don't miss that life is right now. But also, it is a blessing every day to play this game, to be a part of an organization, especially one that has been to the NCAA tournament in the last 4 years. I think Coach White has missed one NCAA tournament in his tenure so far. Yes, I understand there's big games that we've lost, that he's lost, that we can look back and shake our heads at. I mean, I was there in 2020 when we lost. We were up on Kentucky, I believe, by 18 points and ended up losing that game. Was I disappointed? Absolutely. Many other games, coming back after beating West Virginia on the road and losing to South Carolina. Folks, Billy Donovan, every single coach, there is no formula. The coaches don't play the games for the players. They can do everything they can to prepare their players, to put them in the best position to win. That is their job. Just as the managers, as I had one of the head managers on for the Gators, his job as a team manager is to help the players play and help the coaches coach. And a head coach's job is to put the players in the best position to win, because he cannot go out there and play the game for them. He can see their blind spots. That's why you have a good staff and you create these relationships with your players. You can see the blind spots to help your players fulfill your vision for them with what you got, your philosophy of playing. And Coach White has done that. Before Oklahoma, this Gator team's defense was 14th in the country. And I'll tell you, the first game that I was truly got to watch start to finish against Florida State, I was concerned. I loved the tenacity. We got to love the tenacity, the aggressiveness that this defensive team is bringing. Mentally it's there, or physically it's there. We have the components, the pieces to be a great top defensive team. But obviously scouting, these teams scout, coaches scout, coaches do their jobs of a lot of these games come down to not only skill, but scouting. Which team can effectively execute the game plan? And Texas Southern was able to exploit pieces of our game plan, the overcommitting of our defense that led to backdoor cuts and slips. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it gets discouraging. Getting scored on when you have a team as good as you can be defensively. Doesn't matter, number one team in the country, whatever it may be, it gets deflating to defend for 35 seconds, to give up offensive rebounds. Every now and then, obviously, you tip your hat off to, what's the saying? Good offense, or good defense, better offense. That happens more oftentimes than not. You start slipping a little bit. There's some slippage that falls in. Giving up 46 rebounds, getting out rebounded 46-23, obviously, in this last game. A lot of questions right now. A lot of questions with the heart, the bouncing back. But, let's take them again before we get into the ugly. Let's get into the good. The heart that was shown in that game against Oklahoma. Shot the ball, abysmal, terrible shooting night. Happens. What can you control as a team? That team stayed together piece by piece, chip by chip, chunk by chunk, clawing, scratching their way back into the game. Not letting anything disunite them. They stayed united, they stayed focused. And when you push, when you stay together, when you fight, when you realize it is a 40-minute game and we cannot always control the ball going in and out, we cannot always control what the officials are going to do, but we can play smart, we can play together, we can play extremely hard, we can make our free throws. You open the door for luck. You open the door for a shot like what happened for us. And don't get me wrong, I thought it was a terrible shot. I was here in my apartment here on the couch, and it was late. Yeah, I go to bed early. If I make it past 9 p.m., let me tell you, barely ever make it past 9 p.m. But I was staying up for the game, obviously, because I knew it was a tight one. One of my best friends, he's in Ohio State football, big all Ohio State sports, and he wanted to make a wager on the game. I should have, but I have a 7-foot beanbag chair, and I was just sitting there vibing, watching the game, cheering, hoping, just being a fan. I was a fan before I was an actual player, but obviously now I'm more invested in the team. And shot goes up. I'm jumping around, obviously. Shot goes up, and I'm jumping around my apartment complex, calling everybody. Great moment. But how – and yes, great moment. Enjoy success. Enjoy the present. Relax for a moment. You go back to the tape. What could we have done better? Let's enjoy the moment. Celebrate, water, everything. There needs to be a quick reframing of the mind. A quick reframing of what do we need to do so that what can we fix in that last game so we can go into this next game, since we got another one on the road, and get back to doing it, get back to fixing it. And right now, the Gator team, as said by Coach White, post-game of Texas Southern, the first team that the University of Florida has lost from the Southwestern Conference. Yeah, the SWAC, from the SWAC. SWAC sounds kind of cool. I'm about to SWAC you. Don't do that. Effort. And, I love adversity. I love it. I love it for these guys. I love it for Coach White. I love it for all these players, these transfers, because now, the transfer portal has kind of been like a Pandora's box. You can just leave and go. Doesn't matter why. Doesn't matter when. No sitting out. And the why is the most important. Because I wholeheartedly believe, and I don't know the situation for every other team in the country, but I'm going to just speak. This is a Florida Gator podcast, so I'll speak on behalf of the players here at the University of Florida. I believe every guy that transferred wanted to win. Before we move on, let me tell you guys a little bit about our partners over at Bet Rivers Sportsbook. If you haven't signed up with Bet Rivers yet, now is the time, because they are offering a $250 match bonus for your first deposit. But what sets them apart is that they require just one play through to turn your bonus into cash money. With their new Rush Pay Instant Approval, withdrawing your winnings is safer, more secure, and more reliable. With basketball season tipping off, get in on the action by going to betrivers.com today.
or by downloading the BetRivers iOS app. Must be 21 years or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLING.
And that sounds cliche, but hear me out. You want to win because you realize in winning and you want to compete. You want to compete. The SEC is one of the best conferences this year. I mean, Alabama just beat Gonzaga. Kentucky looks great right now. They have such tremendous talent. Oscar Tshiebwe, phenomenal. I don't know what LSU is going to do when they get Kentucky, because LSU took on the softest schedule I have ever seen. Not ever seen, but ever seen. Like LSU, they almost lost to Penn State. And now I can't talk. We lost to Texas Southern, but LSU was playing nobody. They're as of now, I think out of 350 teams, there's a scale of like strength of schedule for the non-conference. Like as of now, as through the 7, 8, 9 games played, they were like 325 out of 350. Like, what are you guys doing? This isn't helping you. I get getting some kinks out early on, but this is not helping you. And talking about this is a new LSU. Sorry for this rant on LSU. Just having a moment. So, saying that this is a new LSU that plays defense, blah, blah, blah. Anyone can play. And again, I'm almost sounding like a hypocrite because Texas Southern, right? They scored 69 points on the Gators, 54% from the field, 45% from three, 40. Only shot 5 free throws, which is, they shot there, but 46 rebounds, 14 offensive, 32 defensive. But this, I don't want to say it's an outlier. Not going to say it's an outlier because it can happen. Anybody, if you don't show up to play, if you don't show up to work, if you don't show up with the mentality of what you need to do, ready to do it, that's why I love like guys that played football and retired. They were like, as soon as I started thinking about retirement, or as soon as I started thinking about what I needed to do, I knew it was time for me to step away, because you cannot step into that arena and be half-hearted into it. And as in life, if you want to be effective, you can't step into anything half-heartedly and think you're going to be effective and have the same amount of success. So, in taking the easy way out, easy way in, the Southeastern Conference is definitely one of the toughest conferences I think I foresee right now. But let's be, I rambled on enough about other things, I'm sure, but let's get into the ugly. Let's get into it about this game. I got a few things here. Yeah, rebound. First off, rebounding, obviously. What does it take to become a good rebounding team? We struggled with this. I want to say it was my junior year. Still have nightmares. Coach Donovan would put up the bubble. And if you don't know what the bubble is, be glad, because the bubble is not your friend. The bubble, those practices, wow. The bubble is for, and you got to embrace it, because you got to do whatever it takes. You got to be willing to do whatever it takes to win. Make practices harder. Practice should be harder than the game. It seriously should. Every practice should be, not every single practice, don't get me wrong, because you got to make sure you're fresh and ready for the games. But those days where you got a few days in between, practice should be harder than the game. And that's what the bubble did. It made practice, the ball is not going in. Get that out of your mind. We're not making baskets. If you want to get some shots up after practice, work on that, or maybe before practice, work on something. But during this practice, you got to get three offensive rebounds, or doing the transition drill. And that drill broke a lot of guys, but let me tell you, we became a better rebounding team. We didn't like each other in those practices, but that adversity, and that was my concern, I would say, for the team, because a lot of people can say the right things and do the right things when there's no adversity, when there's no real challenges yet. And I'm sure this team has some challenges, some guys wishing they had more playing time and whatever it may be, et cetera. There's an unlimited amount of things you can point to that would affect attitudes. But it's when, and really awesome to hear from the inside, how much these guys actually like each other and love playing for each other. And you can see it. You can see when they're winning, when things are going great. But again, how do you handle success and how do you handle adversity? When beep hits the fan, do you guys draw nearer to each other? Does the finger start getting pointed? Does our heads going down? Is the body language changing? Can you still communicate to each other respectfully in love? Can you forego and sacrifice what you want for what the team wants, what the team needs? The team needs leadership. The team has leadership, but leadership in the face of 0-2 in the month of December. And you got a hungry UNF team. They want nothing more. Coach Driscoll is a fantastic man and a fantastic coach. He knows how to motivate his players. I watched the game UNF at Kentucky. They started that game off strong. Of course, Kentucky has too many horses, but they're coming to win. They are coming to win. And that's why I believe UNF and Texas Southern put these games on their schedule, because they realized the only way we're going to make it to the tournament is by winning our conference, winning the ASUN, winning the SWAC. And you take on these tough games. You push your team to know, like, hey, this circumstance is unfavorable, but we're going to have the mindset that we have to win. We're going to win. And you got nothing to lose. By the time you come back to your conference, who are you intimidated by? They wouldn't know. And I mean, this game wouldn't matter winning this game wouldn't matter for them to make the tournament, because those are league conferences where you have to win the title, your conference tournament, in order to make the tournament, the big tournament. But UNF's going to come, and I can imagine. Have they won a game yet? Last I checked, they were. I'll look this up for you guys too. Let's see, North Florida Ospreys. They won one game, but it was against Edward Waters College. I wouldn't really count that. But see, they have lost. Texas Tech. They went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They went 5 straight road games, and they lost to Texas Tech, A&M, Grand Canyon, Arizona State, and UCLA. Then they beat Weber INT, never heard of them. Lost to Kentucky, in Kentucky. Let me see if I can find how that game started. Gamecast, here we go. Yeah, got ugly a little bit. It was, when I was watching the game, it was closer in the beginning. But this North Florida team is coming with one mindset, and that's to win. And right now, effort should never be an issue, but winning, success, can get in the way of. Bill Belichick says it easiest: do your job. And as an encouragement, to our fans, I love this time right now for the Gator team that tasted a little bit of success, feeling good, ranked 14 and ranked 20. Now, more than likely unranked again. No season has ever been determined in December. No season has ever ended or championship won in December. We're not even in conference play yet. But this is a moment where the Gators have had a slip, where they will be able to dig deep, remember what got them to have success, look at each other, really have true, and love can be speaking in truth and calling somebody out, whatever needs to be done. But, at the end of the day, we are all for each other. We are going to the game as warriors, to battle, to fight, to win. So I wholeheartedly believe that, yesterday, Coach White He said it at the press conference that we are going to have a lengthy conversation because he outplayed, outcoached, out everything. And maybe they need to linger in it a little bit more. Maybe they do. Maybe there's more to address, but this quick turnaround is something that's another thing with, hey, how can we bounce back and find togetherness quickly? You're not always going to have time. How can this team step up? Only a few guys showed up at this last game. And that's why I love Brandon McKissick, and I can't wait to have him on this show. My man's a warrior. I love Tyree Appleby. He had a bad game, but he's a warrior. He goes out there and he competes. I never question his effort. But there's something underlying right now, and every team has it. Every team usually hits it. There is no such thing as a perfect season. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen anymore. Even for teams that win it all and win and go undefeated, still is not perfect. They have their own issues. They're just able to fix them so quickly, whether it be practice, things off whatever it is. And let's just pray. Let's just hope for a quick turnaround for this team tonight. We've got UNF at 7 p.m. Let's not jump to conclusions yet. This is great opportunity. I love to look at adversity. It's a great opportunity for Coach White to be put to the test, and I mean in a good way. This is what you sign up for as a coach. It is not just about butterflies and roses. How do you handle losing? How do you handle success? How are you going to coach your team to get back to the basics, to the foundation? And he's got the opportunity to do that. But I don't know if there was anything else I wanted to chat with you guys about. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, this game was all about effort. This game was about the mentality, and the guys can't have bad practice. Can't have bad practices. There can be no margin for bad practices. So, really hoping these guys are going to bounce back. Let's stay hopeful, faithful, believing in this team this year. Already have exceeded most expectations for most people. A lot of people didn't have them ranked or set anywhere on the horizon at the beginning of the season. So let's not be too critical. But I get it. We want to win. We want to win now. This is year 7 for Coach White. I believe this is his best team that he has had. They're missing a Trey Mann. But I love how they fight on defense. I love how together they stay. I love how this team runs the offense well, and they will bounce back. But anyways, enough of me rambling. Thank you guys for listening to me on the Young and the Rowdies. Nice little quick segment. I got some great episodes coming up for you guys here soon. I hope everyone is going to have a fantastic holiday season. Thank you guys again for listening. Please share. Hit me on Twitter, Instagram, any other thoughts, concerns. Who knows? One day here in the future, I'll randomly have a fan on here, not just the Rowdies. You can go back and hear that episode, but would love to do something like this with one of the fans and just chat about the Gators, chat about their experience, whatever it may be. We're doing episodes every week. So thank you so much, guys, for this opportunity to be with you. This is the Young and the Rowdies, episode 13, starring ya boy, Patric Young. Gator Nation, stay rowdy.